catch up with Daily Telegraph racing editor Ray Thomas for the very latest from Rosehill. Good morning to you, Ray. Let's start with...
Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Tim.
Let's start with one of the trials this week, Classic Legend, certainly getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, look, this was an important trial, wasn't it, guys? Because Kerrin McEvoy had to make a decision as to who he would ride in the shorts next Saturday. He had the choice between Red Zell, who was so good last week, first up in the Concord Stakes, or Classic Legend. And in this trial, Classic Legend, the grey, he zoomed away. Geez, an impressive animal, isn't it? A really tough decision for Kerrin McEvoy, but he's elected to go with Red Zell. I guess, Julie and Tim, pretty hard not to go with Red Zell, isn't it, given he was so good in the Concord Stakes last week. That's the race he's launched his successful Everest bids in 2017 and in 2018. Red Zell certainly back, but how good was Classic Legend?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Now, another horse, and Ray, I remember when Chris Waller had the lunch a few weeks ago for a few of the media, and he was talking about the horses that he had in the Everest, and he had Enticing Star and Arcadia Queen, and people were throwing up Nature Strip and others. You asked about yes, yes, yes. Only Young, running today. What do you think?
Yeah, look, very important race for Yes, Yes, Yes today, the Run to the Rose. Look, at this stage, Yes, Yes, Yes will go from today's race into the Golden Rose in 2 weeks' time. If Coolmore want to switch him back to the Everest, they then have 3 weeks to freshen him up from a 1,400-metre race back to 1,200 metres. That can be done quite easily, guys. And look, Yes, 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 he's an untapped talent. We don't know how good he is. He won the Group 2 Todman Stakes during the Golden Slipper Festival earlier this year in brilliant style. In the Golden Slipper, he drew the car park. He was never on the track. He was out the back. He just couldn't get into the race. He's had 2 barrier trials leading into the Run to the Rose today. 2 pretty soft, easy trials. But look, there's a lot of talk about how good Yes, Yes, Yes could be. We'll get a glimpse today when he goes up against Exceedance. And there's a bit of noise about Exceedance too, potentially going for the Everest also. So this Run to the Rose, highly important for both colts, heading towards obviously the Golden Rose and then potentially to the Everest.
Also from the Chris Waller stable is Arcadia Queen, who has been named in the stars slot for this year's Everest. Now, she's come all the way over from WA. I just want to take a quick listen to what Chris had to say about her yesterday.
Hi there, it's Chris with an update on Arcadia Queen, who is running tomorrow, first up for us. Since coming across from Western Australia, she's done everything right, had a good preparation so far, and looking forward to Rosehill in the Theo Marks 1300. Obviously, she is a Everest contender. She's got a slot which is owned by Star, so no doubt they'll be eagerly awaiting to see how she performs, as we will too. But very talented horse. It's a pleasure to be training her and looking forward to tomorrow's result. Obviously, she'll run well, but there's still a little bit of room for improvement coming into the Everest in a few weeks' time.
Ray, she's certainly looking very relaxed in the stables there, but I guess the key is what Chris said, there is room for improvement.
Yeah, look, Arcadia Queen, look, Julie, to me, I can't recall a horse coming out of Perth with a bigger reputation than Arcadia Queen than probably since Northerly back in the early 2000s. And we've had some really good horses come out of the West, like Miss Andretti and Scenic Blast since, but all the good judges have this mare rated right up there with the very best in training at the moment. She's first up in the Theo Marks this afternoon. Guys, the last 2 years, Deploy won the Theo Marks in 2017. Home of the Brave won it last year. They both got slots in the Everest. Home of the Brave got a virus and missed the race. Of course, Arcadia Queen's already in the Everest. And look, I think we'll see something pretty special today. Her 2 trials have been excellent. She looks pretty sharp, and that reputation, guys, it's just amazing how many people rate this mare right up there with the best in training.
Now, Anthony Cummings, he's got a few horses absolutely flying at the moment. One of them is Baller in the Theo Marks today.
Yeah, look, Baller won last week, Timmy, with 59.5. He drops to 53 today, but he's going from a benchmark 78 into a Group 2. But we know this sprinter can compete at a high level, but whether he's good enough to win a Theo Marks and then maybe get into the Everest, I just don't know, because He's up against the likes of Arcadia Queen today, but he's a fit racehorse. He has that massive drop in weight. And as you said, Tim, anything Anthony Cummings is training at the moment, they're running so well. And look, he'll give a good sight, Baller, but I just don't think he has the class to beat the likes of Arcadia Queen today.
What about Champagne Cuddles, Ray?
Champagne Cuddles, talk about a stable in form. Björn Baker, he's had a fantastic start to the new season with Samadout winning the Winx Stakes and the Chelmsford. And Champagne Cuddles is really his stable star. Now, if we go back to the autumn, she ran a really good fourth in the TJ Smith Stakes. She was just beaten narrowly out of second. Most of those horses she competed against that day are in the Everest. Champagne Cuddles isn't yet, but Björn Baker's been saying all week, don't forget my mare towards the Everest. She resumes in the Shirako Stakes today. She's drawn nicely in barrier 2. She goes very well fresh. She loves this track at Rose Hill. If she can come out and win and make a real statement, she could put her name up in lights, so to speak, towards the Everest. And look, Björn Baker's very confident. Her trials have been super. And look, she's right on target for today's race.
Yeah, Björn is jumping around at Warwick Farm at the moment after the feats of Samadout. He's really on the top of his toes. Now, Ray, your magical memory for the week. Last week, we started off overseas, of course, with Secretariat. But the next few, we're going to talk about some great races of the spring. And you've picked a beauty out here.
Yeah, look, Winx, Timmy, when Winx won the Theo Marks Stakes on this day 4 years ago, I think that was a day everyone said, well, what is this mare doing? How good is she? She'd won 2 races in Brisbane over the winter, but they were against fillies, against moderate opposition. Her star was just rising, but on this day in the Theo Marks, she was back last into the straight in an impossible position, but she's unleashed an unbelievable finishing sprint to win this race. That was her 3rd win in a row. We did know then she was going to go on this 33-race winning streak, but I think this was the day when a star was born.
So they straighten up. Winx is still back last into the straight. Strawberry Boy leads from Decision Time and Heart Test to the outside. Ninth Legion coming off the fence. Then came Messine from Sons of John and Vashka running on. Strawberry Boy still the leader from Ninth Legion. Heart Test is out very wide. They're followed further back by Winx is about 5 lengths off them. Ninth Legion hits up, goes up to hit the lead from Strawberry Boy. Sons of John's driving through. Winx flying. Oh, did she get there? Oh, Winx has flown at Sons of John. What a powerhouse finish. It's a photo. Ninth Legion and Strawberry Boy have just been collared. Then Famous Seamus, Turbulent Jet, Decision Time, Messine, Hartesta, Vashka, Boss Lane, Nostradamus, Ioman, and Amanpour was last in. Has she got there? This is an enormous finish by Winx on the outside.
Appropriate that Nostradamus was in the field because he could have predicted the future.
Well, I think a few would have liked that. And Ray, how apt. It is the Mighty Mare's 8th birthday today.
It is, yeah. And as I said, Julie, I think that was the day we all stood up and took notice of Winx, because at her next start, she won the Epsom Handicap. And then the following start, she won the first of her 4 Cox Plates. She was on her way to that 33-race winning streak, and it really began right here on Theo Marks Stakes Day.
Beautifully said. We're going to have another magical memory next week, Ray. Enjoy Rose Hill Gardens.